The year was 1095. Europe was a continent divided by wars, rival kingdoms, and political instability. Powerful nobles fought for land and influence, while the Catholic Church sought to strengthen its authority. At the same time, far to the east, a growing crisis threatened one of Christianity's oldest centers of power, the Byzantine Empire. In the middle of these events stood a man whose words would alter the course of history. His name was Pope Urban II. Through a single speech, he inspired thousands of people to leave their homes, take up arms, and march toward the Holy Land. His call led to the First Crusade, one of the most significant and controversial events of the Middle Ages. But who was Pope Urban II, and why did his message have such a powerful impact? This is the story of the man who launched the First Crusade and forever changed the relationship between Europe and the Middle East. Early life. Pope Urban II was born around 1042 in France. His birth name was Odo of Châtillon. Although little is known about his childhood, historians believe he came from a noble family. From a young age, Odo showed a strong interest in religion and education. He studied under respected church scholars and eventually joined the monastic movement that was transforming the Catholic Church during the 11th century. At that time, many church leaders believed that the church needed reform. Corruption, political interference, and disputes over authority had weakened its influence. Odo became a supporter of these reforms and gained a reputation as a dedicated and intelligent churchman. His abilities soon attracted the attention of powerful religious leaders, including Pope Gregory VII, one of the most influential popes in medieval history. Under Gregory's guidance, Odo rose through the ranks of the Church and became an important figure in the effort to strengthen papal authority throughout Europe. Becoming Pope. In 1088, Odo of Châtillon was elected Pope and took the name Urban II. His election came during a difficult period. The Catholic Church was involved in a fierce struggle with the rulers of the Holy Roman Empire over who had the authority to appoint bishops and church officials. Urban inherited these conflicts and worked tirelessly to expand the influence of the papacy. He traveled extensively across Europe, meeting kings, nobles, bishops, and ordinary believers. Through diplomacy and religious leadership, he gradually increased support for the Church. However, an even greater challenge was emerging in the East. The Byzantine Empire's plea for help. For centuries, the Byzantine Empire had served as a powerful Christian state in the Eastern Mediterranean. But during the 11th century, the empire suffered a series of military defeats against the Seljuk Turks, a Muslim power that was rapidly expanding across the region. One of the most devastating defeats occurred in 1071 at the Battle of Manzikert, where the Byzantine army was decisively beaten. As a result, the empire lost much of Anatolia, a region that forms most of modern-day Turkey. Facing increasing pressure, Byzantine Emperor Alexios I Komnenos turned to Western Europe for assistance. He hoped to recruit soldiers who could help defend his empire and recover lost territories. In 1095, his request reached Pope Urban II. Urban saw an opportunity. Helping the Byzantine Empire could strengthen ties between Eastern and Western Christians. It could also unite Europe's often divided nobles behind a common cause. Most importantly, it offered the possibility of reclaiming Jerusalem, one of Christianity's holiest cities. The Council of Clermont. In November 1095, church leaders gathered in Clermont, France. Thousands of people attended the council, including bishops, nobles, knights, and common citizens. Near the end of the gathering, Pope Urban II delivered a speech that would become one of the most famous in history. Although the exact words were not recorded, several contemporary accounts describe its message. Urban spoke about the suffering of Christians in the East and the difficulties faced by pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. He called upon Christians to set aside their internal conflicts and unite in a sacred mission. He urged knights and warriors to travel east, assist the Byzantine Empire, and reclaim Jerusalem. According to historical accounts, the crowd responded with overwhelming enthusiasm. Many shouted, "Deus vult," meaning, God wills it. The First Crusade had begun. The journey to the Holy Land. Urban's message spread rapidly throughout Europe. Thousands of people answered the call. Some joined out of religious devotion. Others hoped for adventure, wealth, or social advancement. Nobles sold property to finance their journeys. Knights gathered armies. Ordinary men and women prepared for a journey that would take them thousands of miles from home. In 1096, the first groups of crusaders set out for the east. The journey was difficult and dangerous. Many died from disease, starvation, or attacks along the way. Yet despite these hardships, large crusader armies eventually reached Byzantine territory. Working with the Byzantine Empire, they launched campaigns against the Seljuk Turks and gradually advanced toward Jerusalem. The capture of Jerusalem. After years of warfare, the Crusaders finally reached Jerusalem in 1099. The city was heavily defended. The Crusaders laid siege to Jerusalem and attacked its walls. After weeks of fighting, they succeeded in capturing the city. The victory shocked the medieval world. For many Christians in Europe, it was seen as a miraculous achievement and a sign of divine favor. However, the conquest was also marked by violence and bloodshed. Historical records describe large-scale killings during and after the city's capture. These events remain one of the most controversial aspects of the Crusades and continue to be debated by historians today. Death and legacy. Ironically, Pope Urban II never learned of Jerusalem's capture. He died in Rome on July 29, 1099, just weeks before news of the victory reached Western Europe. Yet his influence did not end with his death. The success of the First Crusade inspired additional crusades over the following centuries. These campaigns shaped relations between Christians and Muslims and influenced politics, trade, culture, and religion across Europe and the Middle East. Urban II became one of the most significant figures of the medieval era. To supporters, he was a visionary leader who united Europe and defended Christianity. To critics, he helped unleash centuries of warfare and religious conflict. His legacy remains complex and deeply debated. Conclusion. More than 900 years later, the story of Pope Urban II continues to fascinate historians and audiences around the world. His leadership, ambition, and famous call to action transformed medieval history. Few individuals have had such a profound impact through the power of a single speech. Whether remembered as a religious reformer, a political strategist, or the architect of the First Crusade, Pope Urban II remains one of history's most influential and controversial figures. His story is a reminder that words can inspire nations, move armies, and change the course of history forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical stories.